I wanted to get to I want to talk about something that is, how can I put this politely? It's really, if I believe that it's affecting young girls in a huge way. And it's just become so normal and accepted. And it's baffling once I share this, the stats of this, you guys will get a really good idea. Passy, could you play the video one for us, please? So I'm sure you girls will be familiar with this lady who's talking here. And no, we have no volume.
Sorry. Million women in America do OnlyFans. 1.2 million is between 18 and 24. What percent of women, how many women in America are between 18 to 24? I find out roughly 10 million women. So just on OnlyFans alone, 10% of women in that age group are on OnlyFans. So there's only 10 million women between 18 to 25. Then I decided to think more about the consumers. Who is consuming OnlyFans? And I found out that 82 million American men subscribe to OnlyFans. Now, to think about how big that number is, how many people are in America? 165 million men are in the United States. And they're telling me that 82 million out of 162 million are subscribed to OnlyFans. Of the 82 million men subscribed to OnlyFans, 90% are married. 87% of OnlyFans users are male, and 68% of OnlyFans users are white. So the average OnlyFans customer is a white married man. Found out 1.4.
Thank you, Paxton. So I'm sure everyone here is familiar with OnlyFans, right? I really had no idea that the numbers were this bad. Like, I did not know that 10 million of the females that are on OnlyFans are between the age of 18 to 24. Like, that's a crazy number. That's 10% of the US population is on there. 10%. So one in every 10 girls that are between 18 and 24 has an OnlyFans account. And then half of the men, like, not like half of the men in a certain age category, half of all the men in the US are signed on to these accounts. So if you were in the US and you had 4 men sitting, half of them are on OnlyFans. And then 70% of that half are white married men. I don't know if it's just me, but I think that's sick. Especially if they're married. So most of these guys who are married are not in their 20s. I can guarantee you that, because most guys don't get married in their 20s. And if they did, they're just starting off. So they're not going to be spending money on OnlyFans. They have a beautiful wife that they're married to, and so on. So most likely it's men who are, if they were to do further, stats, late 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. So most of these men have kids. And a lot of them must have teenage daughters. So, it's all females around the only male. I would just like to really and please be honest about this, right? I mean, I'd love to hear your opinion, because what's happening right now in society with young girls is they've realized that I don't have to really do anything. If I've got a nice body, even if I don't, there's people who have fetishes, whatever. But if I've got a decent body and I've got no shame, I can do whatever I want online and I can make a killing. Like, some of these girls, there's this one girl, her name is Babe Pai or whatever the hell her name is. She made $40 million last year on OnlyFans. 40 million. That's like $1 million a week. and she's in her 20s. Then there's another girl, I forgot her name, and she broke the record and she makes the most money. I think it's something like she made like 50 million in 1 month. 1 month. That's over $1 million a day. So now if you have this kind of information circulating all over social media and you have a girl who's 17 about to turn 18 and she's like, I wear a thong bikini on the beach. I don't give a shit. I'm not shy. And, I'm not a virgin anymore. I've already had whatever. I'm going to go ahead and open up an account and she's going to make money. It's not that she's not going to. She will make, especially if she has a social media presence, if she has like a Instagram account that has like, a couple of thousand followers, she will make money right away. And why would she decide to quit that and go work at the local Starbucks or 7-Eleven getting paid minimum wage? Right? And then 10 years later or 15 years later, when, they no longer want to do this, or even like it could be 10 years later, and now they want to settle down, have a relationship. Well, all this shit's on the internet. That's not going to go away, and then a lot of them are ashamed of it. Like, oh, I want the internet to remove that. Pardon me. What do you mean you want the internet? Like, that ain't going to happen. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on, number one, do these numbers shock you at all? Like, are you, like, oh my God, like, 10 million girls between the age of 18 to 24 are on OnlyFans. And then, half of the men. So there's 160 million men in the US. 82 million of them are on OnlyFans. So if you have relatives in the US, is a good, let's say if you have, you have a cousin, an uncle, and a grandfather, well, one of them is definitely on there. That's messed up. So Olga, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts
I'm
on
not
this?
terribly
Did you know this or no?
I
Did you have an
no, I
idea?
didn't know the extent of it. I didn't know the numbers, but there's always been porn on VHS. I remember when I just been hearing it more and more. So of course, if the right girl that's at the right age hears about all this money, it's so intoxicating. It's a drug in wanting attention and money. Like, oh my God. And between 18 and 24, you're in your prime.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't realize the toll it will take on their mental health. When they have kids later, your children actually can humble you in many ways.
You actually think it's going to affect them?
The children?
No, them, like their mental health.
Oh, yeah. It affects your mental health, especially get sickos.
When their kids are coming home crying because their friends are making fun of them at school, it might not affect her mental health right away, but it might later in life.
I might be on a high for a while,
Okay.
but everything comes down.
Good point.
Yeah, and if they don't, invest their money, like they may not be why if they think this a certain way, they may not be wise with their money anyway. But the big thing is the mental health and the consequences later. But I've been hearing about, like you just said, all the money they could make on that. Yeah, and they're not going to be 24 forever, so it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Louise, your thoughts on this?
I'm also not too surprised about the numbers. I didn't know they were that bad, but I knew it's a big thing. I think, or at least what I have heard, and like other like podcasts about like people who do OnlyFans, that even while doing it, like they're just like a year in, and it already takes like a big mental toll on them.
How so though? Like, are they ashamed by it, you mean, or?
Yeah, I think it's not even ashamed. It's just like the feeling of doing this on a daily basis, talking to all these men, doing like the video chats they have to do. So like what I heard and I've seen, it's like that it's more like, yeah, it becomes like a drug because they make so much money, but they also don't know how to get out of it anymore because now all the doors are closed and they're so young and they may not have enough money to like just stop working forever. So just keep going.
Kimberly?
Well, I'd like to ask the question, if men could do it, would they?
No.
You don't think that if
Men
was, like,
do.
an
But there are men
OnlyFans-
that do it. There are men.
Right.
It's not that they're not. So trust me, there's a lot of guys that do it. There's a lot of gym buff guys that do that, whatever. But would it be at the numbers with the girls? Never.
Why?
Men are wired differently.
I think
Right?
it's more like women are wired differently and we would have no interest.
Well, we're saying the same thing. Men are wired differently, and so
Right.
men are wired differently as well.
I see what you're saying.
So men are wired differently, meaning that men do not have, from a very young age, this concept of, their beauty and so on will get them somewhere. Even men that are very good looking, they don't really, take advantage of that. They still will do a 9 to 5 or work construction or whatever. Whereas,
Less vanity.
yeah, women know from a very young age. I mean, it just a girl knows. A girl knows if she's pretty. If she's 4 or 5 years old, she gets more attention from grandma and from this and that and so on. And even in school, when she goes through, elementary school, more people want to be her friends. And when she gets to high school, she's the popular girl. All the guys want to
Pretty
date her.
privilege.
Yeah. So, and that just comes just from looks. Guys don't get that treatment. If there's a good looking guy in school, okay, yeah, so what's that going to do?
So
Right?
the numbers don't surprise me. I find it sad. I find it sad on both sides. I feel like society has normalized this, and
But what
I
do you
don't
think is
think
worse?
it's good for either.
When you're saying sad on both sides, what do you think is more worse long term? The 10 to 24, 18 to 24-year-old girls who are in it, or the fact that there's 50% of the men that are watching this? What do you think is worse?
It's hard. I think it's both. I think both is detrimental towards relationships, society, the real meaning of what love is, right? Like we're human souls. We're more than just our physical body. We have a heart. We have, we are all desire love.
No, but
And
I can argue that point and say, well, listen, beauty is a part of being a human, just a body. I mean, some people are not ashamed to go on a nudist beach. They think there's nothing wrong with that. If you have a beautiful body, flaunt it. And what's the big deal? Like, they're not hurting anybody. It's not that they're doing drugs or injecting themselves or doing
but
anything.
the value is we put on the woman for their physical appearance.
But if the girl's okay with it and she feels that she should be paid lucratively because of her looks, and she believes that, like, I mean, what's the difference in that than, if you have girls who are doing, high fashion modeling for a lot of the brands and the labels?
No, I agree with you. Yeah, it just wouldn't be if I had a daughter, I would strongly steer her away from that industry.
But what if she wanted to get into that?
Free will.
Nightmare, right?
Yeah, it would be my my word.
Emma, how about you? What do you think?
That's the thing. It's so common. It has been common since like the 1950s or so on for women to look a certain way, and it caused so many mental health issues like eating disorders, and it caused like people to feel self-conscious. Like women, I feel, are more self-conscious than men when it comes to their looks.
Mm.
I feel that personally as a girl. Like I notice it in other girls as well.
But sorry, I need to make
Yeah.
a comment on that. Why do you think that is? You think that's because of men, or is it because of women?
I think it's the social standard. Like it's been ingrained in our brains since like the past, like the 1900s or something. I feel like that. Like so many social standards.
I think it, in my opinion, and I deal with a lot of women, right, in the industry that I'm in. It's women who do that to women.
Yeah.
It's not men.
Oh yeah.
Sure, there are some men. I'm not saying that men are all clear of it that objectify women, but it's more women.
That's because we have it ingrained in our brains that we have to be a certain way.
Well, yeah.
So then we make it our reality. Like
Yeah.
we have the choice to change that.
There's a
But
lot of girls
it's
out
really
there.
hard to do that. It's really hard to do that. Like I know like I suffered a lot with body dysmorphia. I still kind of do.
Mhm.
And it's like I've learned a lot about this. And the thing is like it is a choice to like not believe it, to believe that you are your own eye of the beholder. But because it's so ingrained in our brains, it's like wired in our brains, it's so hard to change that track.
It is. But the point that I was trying to make is that it's other women who make it more difficult for women.
Oh yeah.
So most women, not all, but a lot of women want to be the prettiest girl when they walk into the room, right? So a lot of the times women dress a certain way and wear makeup and so on. It's not to attract men.
Yeah.
It's to kind of let the other women know that I'm attractive. So if you look at social media,
We compare ourselves a
well, I
lot
mean,
with
look at
other
most of the
girls.
girls that are on social media. They're like social media influencers. First of all of their stuff is fake. Like, I want all of you to understand that. It's all filtered to death. All of it. There's not one thing real in any of those even videos now. The images, 100% is all fake, where their face and their skull, everything is covered up, right? But if you're on social media, if you're on Instagram and you're seeing image after image of like this perfect girl, you're like, oh my God, the perfect body in lingerie or in swimwear, flawless, you're going to become a lot more self-conscious.
Oh, for
And
sure.
it's not the men that are making these women post this stuff online. they're doing it on their own because they want the attention.
Yeah, and I think it's because
know?
we're self-conscious. Because we are so self-conscious, we do this to like number one, feel better about ourselves if we get attention, like if we get liked, if we get comments, then we have that instant gratification, like you said, where we then feel better about ourselves. But then eventually that high goes down, so then we have to do it again.
Yeah. It's like a drug, right?
Yeah.
Cheyenne, what are your thoughts on this thing with OnlyFans?
Well, first and foremost, a cleaner that cleans all day and then has to go home doesn't really want to clean their house. So that's a reference I'm going to put out there. Like, you go out and do that all day, like what you were saying, having to do video chats, you get so emotionally drained. I couldn't even imagine. And then you have to go home, and then if you have a spouse or not, any kind of other relationship, you're not going to want to be
Yeah, but
part of.
Cheyenne, if you're going home in your Ferrari or your Lambo, and then you're going into like, your
Yeah,
house
but
like a
here's the
chicken
thing.
or
After that phases out, and like you were saying as well, like for me, when I'm hiring, you don't understand. I Google search. We do social media searches. We do OnlyFans searches. We don't want that kind of image at our business. No offense, right? So like you were saying, it closes doors. It closes gaps.
No, but OnlyFans, you can, no one has the real name on OnlyFans.
It doesn't matter.
You're
All it
not gonna be able
takes
to
is
find them.
no. All it takes is a really quick screenshot, and then you use a Google Lens, and it'll show you. It shows you similarities of profiles. It doesn't take much to track
Yeah.
somebody down.
Okay.
But
But
it's up to
you actually think that these girls who are doing this, majority of them are actually ashamed?
Not a right away. They probably feel like show off. They probably almost feel a sense of like, I'm proud. It's probably when the dust settles and there's no one looking and they're by themselves and they're feeling that guilt and that shame and that's probably when they're feeling that. But again, they have this social media presence, so they're not going to show that side. But 100%, there's guilt and there's shame, whether you feel it right away or not.
Have you ladies ever seen the podcast that's called Whatever? The Whatever podcast?
Yes.
So on there, he always has pretty much all the women on there are OnlyFans, right? And of all different shapes and sizes as well. And the arrogance is just, and they're as dumb as this table, most of the girls. They have no concept of anything, but they just don't give a shit. And I don't know if a lot of that's in Canada as well, but it's definitely in the US. And it's in this age category of 18 to 24. These are the same type of girls who, when spring break would take place, you had the Girls Gone Wild. You guys remember those videos? I don't know if you guys do. The Girls Gone Wild,
Yes.
where they're just getting naked for nothing. Like they're not even getting paid. It's just, woo, we're having fun. And it's like, yeah, your dad's going to see this.
Yeah, actually, there's a documentary on Prime about it that was just released, and a lot of those like people, they actually felt it afterwards, because what happened was they'd go to the beach and they were told, find like sweetheart America girl,
Yep.
get her drunk, get
Yep.
her to do whatever you want, and then they'd be like, can you please take it off the video? Like, my dad's boss saw it, he's gonna lose his
They're
job.
not going to.
Nope.
Well, not only that, they went to sororities. They went to universities, different ones, and all the entire sorority was involved. So I don't really think that a lot of these girls, like, especially from watching these other podcasts, really have any guilt or shame.
Remorse.
No, because the amount of money that they're getting, right? So we've become like this consumer-driven society. Everything's about consumerism. It's not about, like you said, if you had like a mango tree, you go pick mango. That's all gone. It's all about buying something, right? And the corporations have brainwashed us to the point that even before you get your paycheck, you've already spent it on your credit card buying useless shit. Like if you go to Nicaragua or you go to, even Aruba, some places, even in Europe as well too, and you go to people's houses, they don't have like 10 pairs of shoes and like 30 pants and like 100 tops and like 12 or 15 scarves and like 10 pairs of gloves. Like, what the fuck's going on? I have like 50 baseball caps. And you're not going to see that in some countries. They might have one or two. And I'm sure you ladies have got like a ridiculous amount of shoes and dresses. But then you'll go out and buy another dress. And you'll go out and buy another pair of shoes.
I've slowed down.
But I'm sure that all of you have shoes at home that are still fairly new. And then you still went down and bought another pair. Am I right?
I'm going to exclude myself from those numbers.
Maybe not you, but
Thank you.
am I right, Olga?
Yeah, I've
Yep.
been guilty. I
Okay.
really am working on it.
Emma?
Not more shoes, but more so clothes.
Clothes? Okay. Kimberly?
I'm not that bad, but I buy used.
Okay. But even used, you must have, you don't just have like 3 pairs of shoes
5
in total.
in total.
Like I'm talking
I have a pair of
boots.
boots, I have
running
a pair of
shoes, heels,
and I have a few
sandals.
pairs of sneakers.
Wow, that's very
I'm
rare.
impressed.
I would love to hear how many shoes you have.
I don't have that many shoes. I'm more into clothes. I maybe have like 30, 40.
Pair of shoes?
Yeah.
You don't think it's a lot?
Girl, I don't even think I've owned that many shoes my whole entire life.
How about you, Olga? How many pairs of shoes?
I want to plead the fifth.
You probably have like I'm thinking over 50 or 60 easily.
Between
And they're all still wearable.
Girl, I'm not
Right?
slippers.
Yeah.
Half the time.
So
Yeah.
we live in this consumer-driven society. So what happens is because it's the capitalist mentality where everyone wants to, make the most money, right? It's all about gathering your, if you're a squirrel, whatever, gathering all your nuts and your acorns, right? So what happens is the person who's got, the nicest house and the coolest car, and for women, the nicest bag, whatever, all of a sudden has this status. And
I have to say though, I do have lots of stuff, but I'm not really into status. I don't have a status car, and I don't buy like bags that have status or jewelry. Actually, I don't really like
that's
real
because
jewelry.
you're old school, but I'm talking about
Yeah.
the new generation now. It's all about that swag. Everybody wants to, show their bling, whatever the hell you want to call it. They all want to have a nice car, right? Whether it's European, whatever. And so these girls on OnlyFans, if they're making 60, 70K a month, they can go and buy a Ferrari. They can buy a Lambo. They can buy a Range Rover in pink, right? And now wherever they go, their car, their purse, their shoes makes them, right? Because these people are shallow, most of these people, right? So it's the money that makes them. So that's the society that we live in. If you watch anything online, Instagram, TikTok, the most popular accounts are all these people living, the life, lifestyle of the rich and famous. So I remember about, I think it was right before COVID hit. And there was this Russian girl that I'd spoken to. And her Instagram had like, I forgot, like, 70,000 followers, whatever, right? And every picture was just perfect. Like on a private jet, in a helicopter, a bouquet of like, 300 red roses, evening gowns and all that, in a house with like, in a mansion, like a double stairway and all that, in front of a Ferrari, in front of a Lambo. And when I met her, she's like, oh, it cost me so much to get here. The Uber was like $19. And I was like, what the fuck? What is she talking about? And it's like, I have 3 roommates in the car. And I said, wait, what? I said, I saw your and this is before I knew that this is all fake shit, right? And I said, I saw your Instagram page. You're wearing like these Oscar de la Renta gowns that cost like 15 grand. You're standing in front of like Ferraris and Lambos and private jets. And she's like, oh no, it's all fake.
Oh.
And I was like, can you explain to me why? And she's like, well, it's because I want a man who's going to be able to provide that for me. And that's why they put it out there.
Right.
So
Has that worked?
Is that girl math or what?
The girl math.
I think it does work. I think these women, because they add this fake value to themselves, will automatically draw some.
Okay, but then
You
when the
know.
guy says, okay, like, let me drop you off at your place, and they find out that she's got 3 roommates, I think, liar.
Well, no. The thing over here is that to show that the image that they're portraying is that that's how they've been treated whenever they were being, someone was courting them.
Okay, my question with all of this, was it like fake as in she was buying it and doing it for herself and doing little photo shoots, or was it like AI fake?
No, fake like as in buying it or so
Oh,
like
girl, that's mental health.
so okay, in LA, even in New York and so on, there are studios, and we're actually thinking about doing this here in one of our rooms, believe it or not. They have fake private jet cockpits. Have you guys seen those?
Yeah.
So you pay $150 for 30 minutes, and they have like the fake for the private jet seats with the table, and then a fake door to the cockpit. and it's the size of this room, and they have cameras, and you sit down, and then you act like you're flying in your private jet.
I love that.
You guys didn't know that?
No, but I
Oh
love
my God, they're
A lot of
everywhere.
influencers do that, and you can tell because they all have the same private jet.
Yeah, same
Yes.
color seats, same arrangement with the table and all that, and they do that. And then they also, of course, do where you can rent a Rolls and whatever else, right? And then they have package deals where not only could you rent the Rolls Royce, but you also get the cameras attached. And then at the end, there's a producer involved, and at the end, they give you video clips. They edit it all for you, right? So these people who do this, other people actually believe, oh my God, like, look at her life. Her life's amazing. I wish I had that life. And so now when they meet men, so these men are like, oh, well, this girl's obviously been dating guys that has a private jet. And they know it's not hers. So they think they have to step up their game and give her more. That's the whole point. I don't get it, but I guess some guys are fools and they fall for it.
Have you seen the reality show Dubai Bling on Netflix?
I would never watch that.
Oh my gosh! But they have everything. They have
Yeah.
everything and the best of everything. But there's still squabbling, arguing, gossiping. They're not men, women. This one guy, Ibrahim, he's ridiculous. But it seems like they're bored with their life because they have everything and they need to make drama.
Yeah, a lot of that is
But
obviously like created, right?
I think it's
staged.
scripted. It
Has
is,
to be, right?
but
They need that
yeah,
to keep it going. But what's really sad are these OnlyFans girls that go to Dubai.
Dubai. Yeah.
So it's Dubai.
Oh, is it Dubai?
Yeah,
I just learned
people call it
something.
Dubai. Right? It's
Dubai.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when these women go there, there's actually a website for this, and we're going to do a future podcast about this, where on this website they expose. It's an Instagram account. They expose these OnlyFans girls and the stuff that they get paid to do with these rich guys in Dubai. I'm talking that they fart on them, they pee on them, and they get paid like 20 grand a day. And they do all of it. And they do it with a smile. So they fly them out, in a private jet. They'll pick them up in the US, fly them out to their palace, and have a Rolls pick them up from the airport. And they tell them what stuff that they want. And it's not even usually the guys, their friends will do it to humiliate the girl.
No.
They get a chuckle out of it, and the girls do it.
I was on the radio talking about this like 3 or 4 months ago, and they were like, would you do it, Shane? Would you go? Because what you do is they like choose what foods and everything that you're going to eat, right? So like you have to eat all the foods that they like, spicy foods.
And then you
stuff.
fart on them.
And then, yeah, like, and all this other stuff. And I was like, I don't know if the price is right. Like, I'm thinking in my head, like 5 grand. They're like, no, would you do it for like 20, 30 grand? You know what? Where I come from, yeah, that changes lives.
But it's not even just 20. I'm talking they get paid like 20 grand a day. So it's not just the whole, they'll make like, 100 grand or 150 in 1
If I
month.
could help my father just like retire like safely, happily, I'm happy with that.
So this, to me, this is the thing that drives, I feel, the girls to OnlyFans is the way our society has become. That we've detached ourselves to what really is meaningful and what's of value. Our morals and values have changed. It's all, again, about consumerism. It's all about money. Money is God. Relationships don't matter anymore, right? It's not valued like they used to be. Everything has a price to it, is what I find.
Okay, I have a question for you though, because it's kind of becoming popular on these OnlyFans sites or whatever. It's a category called mukbangs. Do you know what that is?
No.
It sounds grosser than it is. All it is somebody eating food in front of the camera. That's it. It's like,
Okay.
that's it. So that's one category I would honestly I would be okay with. My nuggies. I would be okay with that. So that's the only division of OnlyFans I would.
Well, listen, there's a bunch. There's like foot fetishes, right? Women dipping their feet in honey and shit
Yeah.
like that, right? And then there's also like the cooking thing, right? Women cooking in the kitchen, right? And then you have guys on there as well. It's not just only, and there's also some OnlyFans that don't involve sex.
I think I might be a
Like they
mukbanger
play the
soon.
guitar or some shit. I have no idea. They do other stuff, but majority of it is sexual, right? And I think with the way that, at the rate that things are going, it's going to become even more norm. Where if you're, your child is in school and their school teacher in elementary school has an OnlyFans account, it's not going to be that big of a deal anymore.
Just because it's normal doesn't mean it's right.
That's a very good point. But sadly, with the way that human beings operate, is that once something becomes norm, people start to associate that with it being right.
And
Right?
that's the issue, though.
Yeah. But that's, it's gone to the point where, if you can't beat them, you have to join them because the masses are just so stupid. Sorry to say, but most people are sheep. So if someone's like, "Oh my God, he's a dreamboat. He's so gorgeous. He's so hot," all the girls will say, "Yeah." But meanwhile, it's like butt ugly. It's like, what are you talking about? Like Mick Jagger. Who the fuck thinks Mick Jagger is good looking? You got to be crazy to think but women will be like, "Oh my, he's so hot."
He looks like one of those
You know?
snake bug twigs, like the bugs.
But because some girls find him, they started that
Oh my
thing.
God.
All they go, "Oh my God," they start going crazy, right? Same thing with guys as well. Like girls will start like this whole, what's that called? The Brazilian butt lift or that BBL. And women think that men like that. No, they don't. Like most men hate it. Do you guys know what that is? You guys haven't heard the BBL?
I feel like a butt lift.
Brazilian butt lift. Yeah, but it's like I'm talking like a hippo butt. Like I'm talking about like a big butt. And women think that men are into that. No, they're not. Like it's like riding a moped. Like you might enjoy it, but you don't want your friends to know you're riding it. So most men don't like it. Okay. But because it's become a trend and women started it, now you've got some guys saying, "Oh my God, that's so hot. Oh my God, that's so hot." And now women actually believe that's actually hot. So most people are stupid. Most people have a sheep mentality. Whichever way the wind is blowing, they're going to start agreeing with that. If it blows this way, that's why if you look at Hollywood, you'll have some people that are celebrities and everybody loves them and they're amazing. But all of a sudden something bad happened and they don't even know if it's real or not. Now everyone starts attacking. "Oh, he's a horrible person." Well, can we at least wait till we hear the verdict on what really even happened? You're ready to judge and label it. That's just because the masses follow that. So I believe that in society, with the way things are headed, OnlyFans is going to become a very, very normal thing. And it's not going to, if you're a school teacher or if you have a position, like if you're in the government or if you're a doctor, it's not going to affect your career. That's what I think. That's the direction it's going. That's my opinion.
You don't
Only
think it's
because
bad right now?
no,
No?
because
Well, I do. I've seen on Instagram and stuff, like teachers have lost their jobs, but that's like when parents have found out and have taken it to the school board and
then that teacher starts making, $100K a month
yeah,
because she
her
got
fam-
outed.
Yeah, and it hurt.
And
Yeah,
she loves it.
And
And
then
then has to
all-
make even more money.
all
All her students.
the students' fathers
Yeah.
are joining her
Yeah.
only.
Yeah. So, and then you've got like, what's the gentleman's name? The actor on 2.5 Men.
Oh,
Charlie Sheen?
Yeah.
His daughter
Yeah.
and his wife were on there.
Well, his wife went on there to support
Ex-wife.
the daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and she's like 18. What's his ex-wife's name again? Richards? Denise Richards?
Denise, yes.
You guys know what I'm talking about? Her daughter, who just turned 18, she's like, "I want to be on OnlyFans." And she told, Charlie Sheen, like, what's he going to say? This guy, like, it has like 100 prostitutes on a daily basis. So, and then the mother and daughter are on there together. Like, that's gross. And when they interviewed Sheen, is like, "Oh, I'm okay with it because, Denise is, doing it as well." So it's like, what? So you think for that reason, like your daughter's being looked after? It's shameful. It's actually disgusting. So it's becoming more and more normal. OnlyFans now is not, how porn was like frowned upon back in the 80s? It was like shame, and they had to hide when they were shooting and all that. This is like just right out in the open. Any female who's over 18 can open up an OnlyFans account.
It's gotten very easy. Yeah.
You don't need to fill out any forms. They don't got to check you mentally if you're okay, if you're sound. They don't have to check if you have a criminal record. Nothing.
That's why it's growing like a
Yeah.
virus,
I think
Any
it's-
girl can do it.
I think it's also so easy to get like drawn to it if you don't know what to do with your life and you're like very
Yeah.
weak to it, because there's so many managements out there who like DM you on a regular basis. I have at least one OnlyFans management a week or even more.
No way. It's
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Yes, but this is like since years,
I did
and
not know that.
it's
So-
very big.
So they tell you they'll manage you and help
Yeah,
you set everything.
and they give you all the numbers. They're like, on your first month, you're already gonna do 10K, on your second you're gonna go to 20K, 30, and then every time they also add that they can like ban your country you're from, so like no one is
From
gonna
all
know
media.
about it. Yeah.
That's insane. I didn't know. So they're recruiting all the time.
And that's the hard thing too, that like kids these days, it's so hard to get a job.
Yeah.
So then they're like, oh, now you can get a job and you're gonna get so much money versus like a part-time job working at like a grocery store or something, which again is so hard to get now.
And it's also work.
Yeah.
Okay, but
This is 10 grand. You're not even working full time.
But I'm also going to point on what Cam was talking about earlier, where so many people are so indulged in their screens now that they can't be in social situations. So they can't get jobs. They're not qualified. Like, we have people come in all the time, and I'm like,
Yeah, but that's not an excuse to do OnlyFans. I'm sorry.
I'm
If you're a cute
him-
girl, you're like, oh, well, I don't have any social skills. So I'm just going to take my clothes off instead.
that's essentially, I feel like, how the process
But
works.
even there, you need to have some social skills. You're talking to somebody. It's not like all bots. I get what you're saying. But who is to blame for this?
Women.
You feel women are to blame?
Yeah.
Explain on that.
Because I feel like we like what we were talking about earlier, like in 1 second you walk into a room, everyone's like, hi, how are you? And then one person leaves and it's like, yo, did you like, you know what I mean? I feel like women have always been like that. I don't care what anybody says, like they're mental terrorists. And I feel like it's like we always had this like one up mentality, right? So like you do this, you do this. So I think it's got like the pendulum effect. It gets to a certain point where now we're starting to see those effects.
Kimberly, who would you say is to be? I mean, it's not just one group or person. It could be many. But who do you think? What is to be blamed for this?
I think multiple things are to be put on blame. Probably social media is really big,
Mhm.
but this is like a world that I don't live in. And because I'm the age that I am as well, my childhood was very different.
But you said
I
you
didn't
said you have
have
a
a cell
child,
phone.
right?
hmm
How old's your child? If I'm asking.
He's 16.
So he's living in this. He's going to. When he's 18, 19 and he's on his own, or 20, he's in it. You cannot be keeping him in a bubble forever. So it is going to affect you.
He's not in a bubble, but I also raised him in a way where, I instilled good values and morals. Hopefully those take him on through his growth process. And if it doesn't, he'll learn from them, and I'll always be there to support and care for him.
So you think that social media is to be blamed mainly? Like you think that
There's so many things that
Yeah.
get blamed, but like I remember, I was the generation that I didn't have a cell phone. I had the
Mhm.
curly cord,
Yeah.
you know what I
Loved
mean?
it.
And
Yeah.
like I had
Rotary
maybe
phone.
my own ring, right? And my friends would call me or they'd come to my house or throw rocks at my window. I wasn't looking at other girls, I was like a lot of girls, I was wearing turtlenecks and sweatpants when when I was 16, and
Yeah.
and I was very insecure about my body. Like showing it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I was, I was shy. I was quiet. There was
Different era.
nothing. It
I know it's
totally
the era.
different. It was very simple.
80s were the best.
It was calm and it was peaceful.
Yeah.
And you felt, you could lie in your bed and just listen to the birds because that's
Yeah,
what
the
you ought to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Louise, who do you think is kind of, I wouldn't say just, not only just responsible, but what do you think really, if you were to point the finger somewhere, what caused this? And what is causing this to keep going?
I think social media is a big thing. I think that there's so many recruiters out there who like make it very like easy to just like try and start a job.
I knew there were some, I had no idea that they're, like, whatever, like hawks, where they're just constantly preying on girls that way.
Yeah, for sure. And also a lot of managements are like, oh, bikini is enough. Like you don't even have to show your face. You can just like pose in a bikini, whatever. But I don't think that's where it's actually gonna end. It's
They
just
just
to
started
catch
that,
them.
just to
Yeah.
get you in. Okay.
But I would not blame women or not only because if there wouldn't be that many men who would consume OnlyFans or porn or whatever, they couldn't even do it. So
Emma?
It's really hard to say. Like Kimberly said, there's so many factors of what it is. Yeah, like the social media group that started this, they continue to like get girls to be involved. It also is like girls feeling self-conscious about themselves, wanting like a gratification of like, oh, you're pretty enough. Also, the men that like consume it, like Louise said, like the more that they continue to do so, the more that they're gonna want the attention. It's so many
Mm.
things.
Olga?
It sounds like we've almost concluded around here that it's social media blame. The women blame for doing it or deciding this is a good idea, and the men that are consuming it. So blame is spread out.
You know, one point I'd like to make, and we'll kind of get into a topic from there. Um, all of you know what strip clubs are, right? Okay. I would like you, I don't know, have you girls been to a strip club?
Hell yeah.
A female strip club? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. If you don't want to say yes, that's okay. Um, what would happen if all of the strip clubs in Canada and the US were shut down? Let's say there was a new bill that they passed and they said that strip clubs are not allowed to be open anymore. What would men do?
I think they would do the same thing like they did when they with alcohol. When they're like, oh yeah, no more alcohol. I think they would still do it.
Bootlegging?
Yeah, exactly that. They would still do it.
There's always going to be small percentage of
Yeah.
activity, but what are a majority of the men going to do? Because not everyone's going to bootleg and break the law and risk going to jail and get a criminal record and lose their home or whatever. But what do you think most men would do? Anyone?
Find a VHS player.
No. Okay. They would. You know what they would do? They'd go home.
They'd go home.
They'd go home to their partner if they have a partner, or if they live alone, whoever the hell they live with. They're going to go home.
They redirect their
They have no
energy.
choice.
Yeah.
Right? So the point I'm trying to make here is, yeah, I do agree that men are the ones who are signing up and paying the money for this. But if the women weren't doing it, the men would not be signing up.
That's what I was trying to say. Exactly what I was trying to say when women was the problem. Maybe I didn't word it right, but that's what I meant.
And I know that women get defensive when it's this angle that I kind of push. But if women did not do porn, there would be no more porn. Sure, there'd be some porn in the black market, like you're saying, bootleg, doing it illegally, but it wouldn't be mainstream anymore. It would be available to everybody. If women stop doing porn, Pornhub is finished. Kaput. OnlyFans is done. Because if women stop, they stop. What are men going to do? We don't live in a society anymore where it's the 1900s and the men are going to force the women to do it. Yeah, there is still that small percentage of the black market where there's a sex trafficking. I definitely agree with that. But on the level that's at now, where it's available to any consumer. Not only is it available to any consumer, but anyone can also offer that service to consumers. So if women stop doing it, there's nothing that men can do.